Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Monday, January the 12th, the year's 2026. Let's talk trading, weekly open and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. As always, let's have our risk management in place so we don't lose more than we're willing to lose while we are trading. So we're entering the second week of the month of January. And as you can see, according to the dashboards, here we've got 1, 2, 3 gaps that have not filled, and they're all on yen pairs. And right now for the pound, we're 78 pips above the weekly open, 11 off the high, 84 off the low. And we're putting in the opening range for the week. Notice we are now within the opening range for the month/year. We've crossed above the monthly open today. For the year, we are 17 pips above the open, now 16. We're 94 off the high, 83 off the low. And today we touched into the daily inside bar range of the inside bar 14 days ago. And we are now in the inside bar range for the weekly inside bar of 2 weeks ago. So these numbers here, 35, call it 35.31 and 34, let's call it 34.02. Those levels are something to pay attention to when and if we get near them. We have 2 pairs with more than 100 pips of range today. The pound yen, also known as the beast, is leading with 123, and the Swiss yen's right behind at 117, with the pound dollar clocking in at 95 pips, which is a nice healthy range considering there's really no news so far. Something must have happened in the Asian session that really kicked the pound off. I guess maybe the dollar's getting weaker, profit taking or something going on out there. But as you can see, we crossed that weekly open, we cross in and out of the buy zone, and price has not looked back. So it looks like the red rats had a couple of small nibbles. I wouldn't call it a feast. So you might want to consider looking for shorts right now if you are a red rat. In fact, if you would traded the wick zone of the previous H4 candle, you'd be in the money. Bambino Flex Indicators says look for shorts. Price near the pivot in R1 is short. Well, you can see here, near the pivot, we opened below the pivot, so there was never really an opportunity to, like, to short the pivot. Price near R1, there was a small short. You can see here we were somewhere between R2 and R3. So we did take out the daily pivot. We did take out the weekly pivot. And we have not taken out the monthly pivot. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, we have taken out this month's pivot. It's last month's pivot we haven't taken out. In and out of the lower wick zone, in and out of the upper wick zone from the previous session's candle. It looks like we just bounced off or crisscross the psychological 134.75. So far this week, 95 pips, 0 percentile. We have not broken out of the previous week's high. We have broken out of the previous week's low by 2 pips. And remember, last week was an outside bar, and then 2 weeks ago we had an inside bar. Simple price action chart. You can see the movement around the 75 line here. And the M30 had nice healthy ranges for about the past 3 hours. So far only 8.7 this half hour, but we still have, a couple of minutes left in this half hour. So it looks like things died off slightly. Okay, looking at lower high, higher low triggers. And we just got a trigger on that last M1. And we had a previous trigger here. This is like the highest low. That is given a couple of trades to the south side. And for those of you just tuning in, the lower high, higher low is calculating over the last 34 bars to correspond with the 3 ball, which is set at 34. Looking at the price action score and count. Okay, looking back here, you can see we had a nice, looks like 8 in a row. It happens, but not that often. But one of the things that I've learned looking at this, you probably, let's see, so after 4, you want to be careful on these. After 4 bars on the 5th bar, this would have given a signal to short because it didn't close above the previous high. But you can see here, the angle of this line's like at 45 degrees. That's just something to note, saying this could be strong upward pressure. But had you taken that trade and then followed the method, you would have taken a trade here. You would have taken a trade here, taken a trade here, and then taken another trade here. And then when this dropped, you would have been in the money. You can call that hindsight, but that's just following the method. So, for example, here you had 4 in a row. And even though this was a bullish bar, it still came up with the negative because it closed below that previous midpoint. You can eyeball it and see it. But then you had a reason. You had 2 reasons to go long. One, this was after 4, and this right here, that would have been a flip-flop trade also. But you can see there would have been a couple of minutes where, you went positive, negative, negative, positive, and then you had an opportunity to punch out. And one of the things, though, is it closed above the indicator 2 on M5 and M1. Also, indicator M1, indicator 2 crossed M5. So that was an indication that you might want to stay in the trade. And once again, it would have paid off. But some of those people will call it hindsight, but we can watch and play it out in real time and see what happens. And the beauty of this is it just makes you wait. You might have to wait 4 or 5 minutes if you start to get them in a row. So you might have to wait longer because, let's see, the last time we had 4 in a row was 7. Let's see, what's the time stamp here? 32. It had to wait 20, 25 minutes with no signal to enter a trade. And for some people, they get too antsy. They want some action. They see price moving. They say, well, I could have made money here. I could have made money there. And well, that's true, but you could have also lost money. And that's why it's important to have a method, follow the rules. In fact, I came across a very interesting post today from the Darius Faru page. It talks about how to get in the top 1%. And what's kind of interesting is he has a plan. He says phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And what really made it interesting is that he uses some terms from different subjects. So like he says, stop the bleed. Well, as a prepper and as a somebody in the healthcare profession, you definitely want to stop a bleed. In fact, there is a class I took called Stop the Bleed where, if you have a first aid kit and all you have is Band-Aids, that's just a boo-boo kit. Now, you need a tourniquet. You need some real medical gear if you really want to be able to save a life. Well, what really interested me was the in the Stop the Bleed is that you have to get rid of things that are making you unsuccessful and just avoid them. So sometimes avoiding the negative is better than trying to achieve the positive. But phase 2 is something that hit me because I wrote a book, or I was starting to write a book, and Mel Kreslick still thinks I should publish it. And when I first started the book, I was going to call it I was going to call it 21st Century Dating. And this is back in I think I did this in the 2000s, maybe. Yeah, would have been in the 2000s. Well, anyway, I was writing this book and then I changed the title where I said, okay, this is what I'm really going to call it. I'm going to call it Fit for Dating. And I said, you have to be fit for dating and you have to find a partner who's fit for dating. And I said, there's 4 things. You have to be physically fit, mentally fit, financially fit, and emotionally fit. Well, in his phase 2, he calls it the core 4. It's physical, mental, financial, and spiritual. I would assume in his, maybe he's including emotional under mental. But I just thought that was interesting that he put it. It's like he says, you got to get those 4 areas of your life right if you want to be in the top 1%. So in trading, yeah, you need to be physically fit, not be tired. You need to be mentally fit. You need to be financially fit. If you're not, you shouldn't be trading. And spiritually fit, I don't know if that would apply to trading, but that's why I say emotional. Definitely, you've got to have your emotions in check. So anyway, see, once again here, we had 3. You were probably anxious, but you got to wait for that 4th one to close. And you can see here, if you would have trying to take that short, it wouldn't have worked out very well for you. Chances are you wouldn't have taken that 1 pip. It turned around. So, fellow traders, the fastest 15 minutes in trading's over now. I'm going to wish you a fun, safe, and profitable week this week. And always remember and never forget, It's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.